rejection. Yeah. Some of the senators were quoted as saying that Magu is now terrorizing us. Which some people felt that, you know, how could he terrorize people if there was nothing to terrorize them about?
But those are their personal comments. I can't speak. You see, honestly, my view on this is that we don't need to personalize this. These are processes. It's a process. There's a law. The law says that the EFCC chairman is nominated by the president and comes to the Senate for confirmation. The presidential system that we operate means that there's some time we will agree with the president, and then sometimes we disagree with the president. And I think it's unfair in an institution that when we disagree, it turns into a blackmail that, oh, it must be for a reason. That's a process. So if Magu is rejected, that's a process. But was the process transparent? The factors given, were they transparent? We did not concord. We did not write a letter talking about his integrity. He came to the performance. The sampling of opinion of Nigerians after his performance, you can check the results. So to now turn that round and say, oh, there are people in the Senate there who have issues with the EFCC, even those that have issues with the EFCC, was it Magu that took them to EFCC? Most of those people have cases in court. Can Magu, even if Magu is your brother, can Magu change those cases in court? These are some of these sentiments that we just do to black people. What can Magu do? Even if he wants to help you, you're already in court. Magu can't do anything. Poor Magu, was Magu there 10 years ago that brought somebody to EFCC? No. So to me, my important issue is that we must build institutions. We must never at any time personalize issues, because Magu will finish his term or not finish his term. Saraki will finish term and go. Somebody else will come and finish his term.
But Senate President, you are a politician, and you know, and you've experienced it. Your case at the Code of Conduct Tribunal, you say that you're only there because you're Senate President, and your party is not happy with how you emerged. Can Nigerians then be wrong when they say that in some instances there could be political, you know, insinuations to some of the things that happen on the floor of the Senate?
There could be political, there could be. But in this one, the facts speak for itself. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying in some cases they aren't. Of course they are. I mean, sometimes you get a nomination from a state, and maybe the person representing that state and that person, they don't get on, they're not from the same political leanings, and he doesn't get the political support, he won't go through. I mean, that just happened all over the world. Because you need the political support, because by the powers, these are the people who have been elected for until 2019, they're represented in the Senate. By the Constitution and the law, they have those powers. So they are the ones that have the powers to decide, yes, confirm. Same way the president was elected. President has the power to nominate. Are some of those nominations political? Of course they are political. So don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they're not political. The ones that are clearly political are clearly political. But I say that if we're going to be fair, if we look at Magu's case, even if they're political, there are issues that are not political. The process done by the state security is there. Listen, whether it was Magu or anybody else who wants to head EFCC, and the highest body for investigation on security issues says you lack integrity, you have a lot of work to do to be able to get clearance. Whoever it is, especially on the portfolio that he has before him. It's not only him. We had a chap who came from NDDC. Ondo State said, brilliant chap. He got all the support. There was a report from state security saying when he was in the state commission, I think for poverty alleviation, there were cases of fraudulent act. We couldn't do anything. The senators from there were saying, no, he has our support. We said, how do we do this? So the point I'm making is, don't let us bring this down to Magu. If whoever had found himself in that position, that he was before to head a commission on corruption, and the most senior agency, SSS is for all. State governments rely on this report. Mr. President rely on the report. Everybody rely, and say something like that. It will always going to be a tough issue to address. So so to put that blame on the Senate, honestly, it's not being fair.
Will the Senate go to court to uphold its powers to screen officers not prescribed or not specified under Section 117 of the Constitution?
We're not the one that has to go to court. We're not breaking any law. As far as we're concerned, the law and the Constitution are very clear. Those that don't agree with it are the ones that should go to court. We've done our work. As I said, we've finished our work. We've done our work. This is our view. Our view is very, very clear. Even from the executive, you can see there's inconsistency. Executive, in one hand, say this, but 2 days, 3 days later, they're sending letters to us for confirmation. So, but that's executive. We've played our part, and we've moved on to address all the issues.
So quickly then, the senators accused the executive. It's a Senate's accusation of, in Senator Sani's words, fighting corruption with deodorants within its circles and applying pesticides to everyone else. But in a recent development, we saw the president suspend the secretary to the government of the Federation, Babachi Olawa, while he was being investigated. Now, some say this is what should happen, that one being investigated in office should not be in office.
First of all, I'm going to tell Senator Sani I'm very jealous. Seems to be your favorite reference point, Senator Sani. So now, what's the question on?
You are in office, even though you have a case at the CCT.
Yeah.
Don't you think this is immoral?
No, I don't think so. I think the issues are completely different. That's my view.
How are they different?
I think they're different. First of all, in the case of the SGF, what we have addressed, we've found him guilty, right, on the issues that came to us on Pine. And we've sent it to the National Assembly, to Mr. President, to take action, that he should be prosecuted. That's what we said.
He said he should be sacked as well.
We believe that based on what we have, he's been found guilty of those issues. And as far as we're concerned, we've done our own investigation.
Was that a court? Was the senator court at that point in time?
It's a resolution. Mr. President is not bound by resolutions. You know that. Our resolutions are not binding. We make resolutions every day. They're not binding. That's why we've not said to him, he must obey. Those are resolutions. We pushed it to him. Then he has to do his own investigation and do that. Resolutions are not binding to Mr. President. That's a resolution. It's not an act of law. And they know that. We know that. But what we didn't like was that when we were doing that, people again misconstrued that. Some say, oh, nothing, he did nothing. Then when President concur, oh yes, he has done something. So again, some of the actions that we do take in the interest, I think people need to be a bit more objective that we're doing it in the best interest of Nigeria, not because we had any particular issue. And even this motion that came, did not come based on senators. It came from Northeast. It was the Northeast people that complained that a lot of this money that was being spent was not being spent in certain of the areas. They complained to us. It's not that some of us had some of this information even a bit long before, but we're not sure.
But you say it's different. How is it different?
I beg your pardon?
How you said the two issues?
No, the issues are different.
Different.
They're totally different.
You were pointing out the difference.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I've said. They're totally different issue. One has to do with corruption in the sense of misappropriation of funds.
And the other?
CCT has nothing to do with that.
You don't think you need to clear your name?
I will, but I'm saying if they're not. You all ask yourself, why am I before CCT, not before a court of law and corruption? It's not to do with corruption. We're talking about misadministration and misdemeanors, and some of those issues you see at the end of the day has nothing. Maybe just use the word corruption. At the end of the day, it's all about interpretation, and they're totally wrong. And we'll prove that those were politically motivated. This is a case of where funds of government were being diverted. The issue before CCT has nothing to do with the funds of government.
Well, Senate President Bukola Saraki, thank you for coming on Hard Copy.
Thank you.
And so the final part of our interview with the Senate President ends. Well, next week, Nigeria will celebrate 18 years of unbroken democracy, a system of government most defined by the legislative arm of government. As we mark this day, Hard Copy encourages all our viewers to continue to engage with the system until it evolves into one that is fair to all. Well, we must thank David Shaibu and Dr. Isaac and all our friends on Twitter who sent a message and a tweet. We hope we get more this week on the issues raised. Do use our handle at CTV Hard Copy or write to hardcopy@channelstv.com. Well, thank you for watching tonight. I'm Maokbe Ogun, wishing you a very happy Democracy Day.